Now, the rape survivor, who has become a hero in France, has given her final statement in court. Gisele Pelicot says it is time for the macho, patriarchal society that trivialises rape to change. Her ex-husband and dozens of other men are on trial in France, accused of violating her while she was drugged.
Gisele Pelicot is the woman at the centre of a mass rape trial that has shaken France. Over 5 weeks, a court in Avignon has heard harrowing details of how she was allegedly raped by her husband, Dominique Pelicot, and dozens of men he recruited online. She told the court she never suspected her husband of anything, and that she thought she was having symptoms of Alzheimer's when she was experiencing blackouts and memory loss. The court was told these were the side effects of the drugs her husband was putting in her food to sedate her. Gisele Pelicot also told the court that she'd consulted 3 gynecologists after waking up on several occasions, in her words, feeling like she'd given birth.
After Gisele Pelicot spoke, you heard who the main victim is, and we know to what extent. But more broadly, the main victim is an entire family.
Dominique Pelicot has admitted to the charges against him. He's on trial alongside 50 of the men police tracked down from videos of the alleged rapes he filmed and stored. 21 other men seen in the videos could not be identified. While a handful of the men on trial have admitted to raping Gisele Pelicot, the majority have pleaded not guilty. They argue that they were not aware that she was unconscious. One of them said he thought she was pretending to be asleep as part of a fantasy game. Investigators have evidence of around 200 alleged rapes carried out between 2011 and 2020.
It's unusual here in France for a rape trial to be held in public, but Gisele Pelicot chose to waive her anonymity. She told the court she was driven by a desire to expose rape culture. She said she'd hoped that her decision would empower other survivors of sexual violence to speak out.
Gisele Pelicot is a hero.
The 71-year-old's bravery has opened a conversation.
It's a message for all women who are suffering violence. Many are silent.
It helps to put pressure on the justice system and hold perpetrators accountable.
The men accused in the trial face decades in prison. Judges will deliver their verdict in December.
And Christine Mhundwa, who filed that report, is at the trial in Avignon. I asked her how this case came about.
Well, this all came to light in September 2020 when the husband of Gisele Pelicot, Dominique, was caught by a security guard in a supermarket filming under women's skirts. He was arrested, his phone was confiscated, and as police looked through his phone, his laptop and other gadgets, they discovered thousands of videos of a woman who looked unconscious, who appeared to be unconscious, and a number of men having sex with her. They also discovered chats. These were the conversations that Pelicot had been having with the men that he had been recruiting online to come and have sex with his wife while she was unconscious. The court was told that it is only when the police brought Mrs. Pelicot in for questioning and showed her these videos that she became aware of what had been happening to her over a decade. She was stunned. The court was told that at some point she didn't actually recognize that she was the woman in that video footage.
This is a huge story, both in France, around the world. We've been watching the trial. She has now given her final statement in court. Can you tell us what we heard from her and what we've also heard from her ex-husband, Dominic?
That's right. Well, Anya, Gisele Pelicot has been defiant from the very beginning. I mean, the decision she took to go public, to put her face out there, she said this has always been about taking the shame away from the victims and putting it onto the perpetrators. Today, she looked those perpetrators in the eye. She addressed them directly. She said in her eyes, these men were all rapists. She said that this has been a trial of cowardice. She said she's listened to men deny rape, but she asked them directly, at what point did she give them consent? At what point, when they walked into her bedroom, found her body motionless, continued to engage in sexual relations with her, did they not think that this was right? At what point did they report this to the police? She's been very, very strong. Dominique Pelicot is speaking in the coming hours, but he has already confessed to his guilt. He has told the court that he is a rapist. He's admitted to the charges against him. But for Gisele Pelicot, this has not just been about her justice, but justice for all victims of sexual violence, her going public and saying to other victims, in fact, she's quoted as saying, I want women to look at my case and say, if Madame Pelicot can do it, so can I.
A woman, obviously, of extraordinary strength. As you said, there are many men on trial. Can you tell us more about the other men who are on trial accused of rape?
Anya, these men come from different backgrounds. You have a carpenter, a nurse, a soldier, you've got farm workers, truck drivers. We know that these men all lived within a short driving distance from the Pelicot's home, about a 60-kilometer radius. A lot of them have very difficult backgrounds, substance abuse, addictions to pornography. They are having challenges in their lives. There's documented, in some cases, some of them have also experienced at some point in their lives sexual assault and sexual violence. So a very disturbing picture of some of these men, but the majority of them have rejected the allegation of rape. They don't believe that they're guilty of rape. They say they were unaware that Mrs. Pelicot was unconscious, and they are instead putting the blame on Dominique Pelicot. Some of them have even suggested that they are victims of Dominique Pelicot. We know that 50 of them are on trial. One is at large. An international warrant of arrest is out for him. He's believed to be out of the country. But there is also 21 men who aren't in the dock today, and that is because police were unable to identify those men.
Christine Mhundwa reporting from Avignon in France. Christine, thanks so much for bringing us up to date on the extraordinary story of that trial and, of course, the incredible strength shown by Gisele Pelicot. Christine, thank you.